Hello, welcome back everyone. Welcome to the Zentangle Project Pack series. This lesson is part of our very first Zentangle Apprentice Project Pack. We're so excited to have you all here today. Zentangle Apprentice is part of the Zentangle family that focuses on designing products and lessons catered to a younger audience. We believe that all of us have a child inside us, which makes all of these videos great for tanglers of all ages. Today we're going to be working with the materials found in the Project Pack A1, which is our first apprentice project pack. These are available from some of our certified Zentangle teachers and of course from Zentangle.com. If you do not have this project pack, we encourage you to use with any materials you have at home. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. I have two of my artist friends with me again today. I have
Abby,
and Gwen. I have been so lucky to have so many great artists joining me over the last couple weeks, and some of them you probably are getting a little familiar with because I've had some of them come back, and I appreciate it so much. I really do. And I really appreciate that all of you have joined us too, and this is the 8th and final lesson in this series, and today we're going to be having a little fun with, we're going to be playing with some hearts because we're getting close to Valentine's Day here, and if you're watching this after Valentine's Day or in a different time of the year, I kind of feel like hearts are sort of appropriate on any day. So here we go. We're gonna have a little bit of fun. So I am working with some materials here, pretty basic ones. I'm gonna use a white jelly roll pen and a pencil, and then I am going to be using a black square tile. Gwen and Abby have some different materials. Gwen has a black tile just like me, and Abby's going to be using a white Zentangle. So you can actually choose any of the tiles that you have left in your set, or you can use any of the paper you have at home or whatever you want to play with. And I'm going to show you one type of fun heart tangle to do, and then I'm going to show you some others that maybe you can try yourself at home. So as usual, we like to get all our materials ready for drawing, and then I like to get my body comfortable, whatever works for you guys, just kind of getting it maybe situated, squared up to the table, and whatever feels good. And once you have your materials and your body ready, I like to acknowledge the first step of the Zentangle method, and that is gratitude and appreciation. And just for a moment, I invite you to maybe gently close your eyes or maybe just focus on something in the room and maybe take a moment to slow down your breath. Maybe take a nice deep breath. And then maybe just think about one thing that you're grateful for today. I mentioned earlier that I'm feeling very grateful for the friends that came to join me today because I know they had to take time out of their busy days to come and tangle with me. And so I'm feeling very grateful for them right now. You might be grateful for something you have in your world, and I invite you to take a moment now to recognize that. All right, so we're moving on to the next step, and for this tile we're not going to put 4 dots in the corners, and we're not going to draw a border. We're actually just going to draw a string, and as we mentioned earlier, today is going to be all about hearts. And so we are going to draw a string that is a big heart, and your heart can be as uniform or as kind of wonky or different as you choose. It doesn't have to be perfect, and it can kind of fill the tile as much as you like. I'm doing mine to be about like this. And then I'm gonna put down my pencil. And as I said, I'm gonna use a white pen, and the girls are using, Gwen's got a couple of pens ready to work, and Abby likes to use the black on the white, which is nice too. So here we go. So this tangle I'm going to show you is called circles, and normally we do it with circles, but I'm going to show you a little kind of variation of it. So here's how it starts. I have my heart, and I am going to draw a series of stripes, stretching all in the same direction in my heart here. Kind of evenly spaced out, and they don't have to be perfect. Make my way to the other side. These gel pens oddly work better if you don't press too hard. It kind of lets the ink flow out of them. Nice work, ladies. So you've probably realized by now, after using the pens for a little bit, you realize that the ink stays wet for a little bit, especially with the gel pens. The black ink isn't as bad, but definitely stays wet for a moment, so you always want to pay attention to that. So now we're going to draw a series of little hearts across our big heart, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to do that in a second. This tangle normally would be done with circles, but for fun, we're going to be playing with hearts. And so I'm going to draw them as if I'm ignoring these lines right now. So I'm going to draw one like that, right on top of it, and just kind of ignore where those stripes are. And they can be different sizes. You can draw a small one, bigger ones, almost like it's raining hearts. And you can do as many or as little as you want. You could even do a half a one if you want. Goes off the edge maybe. Okay, so I have my stripes, I have my hearts, and now we're going to doing some fill-in work, and I want you to just work slowly with me. And so we're going to start on one side, and I'm going to look at this stripe, and I'm going to ink in that stripe everywhere except for where my heart is, just the stripe. So I'm just going to be coloring in that stripe, but when I get to where the heart is, I'm just going to not color in that part. Remember, you can pause the video at any point in time if you're behind or ahead or whatever it is you need. So I'm going to skip the next stripe. I'm not going to do anything there. And I'm going to do the same thing on this one right here. I'm going to ink in the stripe, ignoring where the hearts are. Just enjoying the back and forth. Remembering that these pens, they do stay wet, and they do actually sometimes work a little better if you lighten up the pressure. I always like the way stripes look in any way, even just plain stripes. They're so fun and kind of whimsical. So we're going to continue on, and I'm going to just do every other stripe, filling them in, but leaving the hearts uncolored. So once you have all of your stripes filled in, nice and kind of carefully, taking your time, I'm gonna go back and I'm going to look at these stripes that aren't filled in, and in those areas, I'm gonna do the opposite, and I'm going to fill in just the hearts. So you have to just kind of take your time and focus and just look exactly at the stripe you're working on. And if you accidentally fill in the wrong thing, don't sweat it. Usually ends up kind of blending in. Just focusing on that one shape you're working on, moving on to the next. I love these white gel pens. I use them quite often. And sometimes I get so excited about all the colors, but then when I go back to just working with black and white, I kind of enjoy that too. Again, pausing in between each stripe so you can really focus to see where you're at. Taking your time. All right, so we have all of our stripes filled in, and I'm thinking we're gonna do a fun sort of tangle around here to add a little detail. And I think that what I'm gonna do first is I'm going to just put an outline all the way around. If I was just leaving the heart, I might have not done the outline and done some shading, but I think I'm gonna add this other tangle around there, and I think this definition will be nice. Always optional. All right. And this is also optional. You can build your tangle right off of this, but I'm going to add a second outline here, a little aura all the way around my heart. It doesn't have to be perfect, so I'm basically drawing a heart around my heart. Careful not to smudge your ink as you go, but if you do, it sometimes looks kind of cool, so don't worry about it. And now we're going to create a series of, this is actually basically a crescent moon variation, but we're gonna kind of start with putting a series of sort of, I guess they're like little spikes off of our heart. And they'll just be pointing out. Yeah, I guess they're like spikes. You're gonna leave a little space in between each one. These are friendly spikes. I know it sounds weird putting spikes on our heart, but it's gonna create a cool pattern. Taking your time. They can be different lengths. They don't have to be exactly the same. All right, so that actually looks pretty fun just as it is. It's kind of a fun, playful thing, but we're gonna add some more stuff here. So to start off with, we are going to connect our spikes with sort of a little curved line. Kind of connects each one. Almost like connecting the fence posts. Just bouncing from one to the next. If you're working with colors, you could switch up the colors each time you kind of go to a next set of kind of ideas. All right. So I got all my curved lines in. And the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to add sort of a variation on crescent moon. I'm just going to randomly pick one of these posts here. And I am going to, if you guys remember, I'm going to put a little ladybug on either side of my post and ink it in. And I'm going to go around and do that on each one. Just one of those little humps on each side of the post. And if you have a smaller post, you can kind of make those half circle shapes smaller. All right, so we have some really cool stuff going on here with just the way it is. And I always say, if you're loving the way your tile looks right now, you're totally welcome to leave it like that. I am gonna start another layer here, and I'm just gonna do a whole bunch of auras on these like I would with crescent moon. But when I'm doing it, I'm gonna focus on sort of this space between my two spokes, or whatever you wanna call them. And I'm gonna put a aura on each side, and then I'm just going to go back and forth until I fill the space. So I get something like that. So basically, pouring these things one at a time. And then I just go back and forth until, might be more than one on one side. It doesn't really matter. I kind of just want to fill the space. All right, so I got all those auras in. It looks so pretty. I'm so excited I took the time to do that. I'm going to add one little subtle detail and then we'll be done, but I'm just going to put a little on the top of my little spikes. I'm going to put a little circle. And this is optional. If you kind of like how yours looks, you can kind of skip over this, but this is just my little finishing detail here. I'm not quite sure who I'm going to give this to yet, but I'm thinking about it. These are nice Valentines, or maybe just a gift, or maybe it's just something you want to keep yourself. Once you put all that work into it. Some of these steps do take a long time, but you can just get into the moment, kind of enjoy the time, the downtime. All right, there's all my little circles. Wow, that was so fun. Okay, so I am going to throw my chop on here somewhere. I think I'm going to find a little spot down here. Girls, I invite you to do the same once you have all your spaces filled in and your dots. So find a space for your initials. And show you how Abby and Gwen have done with theirs. Thank you so much. It's a little wet, I know. These are beautiful. Gwen did hers sideways, which is pretty cool too. Abby did hers on the white tile, which is very classic. I love it. If you worked on the white tile, you might want to go back in and add a little shading. That would probably be nice as well. That's a nice option. So those are our hearts. But I also want to share with you a couple of other hearts that some of us have done along the way, because it might inspire you guys to do some more hearts. Here's a nice one with different colors. My sister did that one. And Abby did this one earlier with Hollowbot. It looks like it's kind of wrapping around there. Very, very cool. Here's another one with two different colors. Gwen did this one earlier with bales. Super fun. And she added the second color, which I love. So, so, so pretty. And then we have a couple others here, some other fun tangles. Let's see here, another black and white one, some Tripoli. This is a tile called Spoken. So much fun stuff, you guys. Love the hearts. Thank you for joining me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Happy hearts wherever you are. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.